next session is going to be given by Professor Dr. Premendu Mathur. He is Vice-Chancellor at Birla Global University, Orissa. He will be talking on the topic International Student Mobility. I request Mathur sir to kindly take over the session. Warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rane. I am very happy to see you again, and I thank FELA to invite me on this particular platform, which is discussing a kind of post-COVID impact assessment on higher education in this country as well as global level. I have chosen a topic which it is not known as far as one thing is that in this the kind of I think the topic is let me see my topic. My topic is
International Student Mobility.
Oh yeah, post-COVID mobility. Yeah, well, the international sphere, just now I heard Dr. Singh talking about the internationalization of higher education in this country. Well, he had very, very clearly articulated many things, but one of the things which I have faced as I launched one of the first study in India program in Pondicherry University, and there which I faced the problem that as a system we are not compliant. It is something like maybe individually we are very good or whatever, but as a system there is no compliance. If the student look for one thing as a habit, we send to other person, go to this, today registrar is on leave, tomorrow this thing is on leave, and they really get fed up with the kind of systems we work. So there should be single point solution to them whenever we address the foreign students. There should not be two persons looking at whether it is a finance, whether it is deposit of fees, whether it is hostel, whether it is their teaching, whether it is that. Fortunately, I could run the program successfully because I decided myself to be a single point person in the campus. But you know, it has its great problems, including the compliance from the teachers. The teachers are non-compliant because they reach late in the class, and American students, because I was handling the students from the Western countries, America, Europe, and all that, they are not used to having the teachers coming late to the class. Here it is very common that the two teachers go 5 to 10 minutes late in the class. So I'm telling you, there are cultural differences, and unless until we become compliant, I think it is extremely difficult. And in the university system, even the students are in our country, unfortunately, let me tell you very honestly, that the students are not the center of the whole activities of the university. It may be, and if you look at the buildings also in the campus, administrative buildings are the best buildings in the campus, while teaching blocks sometimes may be very shabby and maybe not compliant with many of the things. All the air-conditioned rooms will be with the administrators. So I think we have not placed students at the top of the agenda in the university. Anyway, since it is not my topic, but I feel very close to it, and most of the time it is seen in the university that the students themselves are, if we put boundary walls inside the campus so that the students cannot enter into their buildings, students have to take permissions to meet the Vice-Chancellor, students have to, all kinds of things, the students barrier there. It is only two components which are important in the university. We must understand it is teacher and students. And the students are number one. Teachers are the function of students, and teacher and student also, they give legality to the administrators. So administrators are function of teachers, but it seems that the whole university works for administrators rather than for students and teachers. If PowerPoint presentation is not working, nobody gets bothered. If lights are not there in any of the classrooms, nobody is bothered. If hostels don't have waters, nobody has the problem unless until they come out on the street. So I think that our system as a whole is non-compliant for even hosting the Indian students but they are actually compelled to come to our universities. But foreign students have choices, and that's what I'm trying to say. That now I will not tell more about that, but I will talk about only mobility and in terms of COVID-19. So COVID-19, as everybody knows, that the pandemic which struck all of the world and every aspect of the society, whatever it was, whether it was any industry. So I don't think that there is any single sector which remained untouched by the COVID-19, including the homes, including the families, everything. And the worst was the psychological impact on the people. And this flow of the things happened that the decision-making perspectives, processes of the students, they got altered. And I think this is a very interesting point because mobility is concerned, but I have not thought about the mobility within the country. But one thing, let me tell you that mobility in the country has also shifted. But unfortunately, I don't have any idea about the research which could have been done on the mobility within the country. Because earlier, and it so happened that if I'm just tending to think on those lines, that if the university is situated in one geographical area, the students in the past 1 or 2 years, they were more from that geographical area, because parents don't want to send their children away. Earlier, people used to go to north, south, east, west, everywhere, just to see that whether the education is better than what they would get otherwise. So they would have the cost. Most important factor was the cost, as well as the location from their or the distance from their houses. And I think the mobility within the country has also got affected. And if you look at that, I think that most of the people, they prefer not to go very far away. And the second good thing or bad thing happened in this process, that some of the universities which had better standing, or they had a better recognition by the society, they got admissions. And the universities or the colleges or the institutions who they did not enjoy the same kind of recognition from the society got suffered, because people don't want to risk to go and see one place and then try to go to see the other place, which one is the better. Sometimes people used to take admissions at 2 places or 3 places, and then within 1 or 2 days, then they will find how this hostel is there, how this is there. So I think they don't make choices. And same thing is happening in the global scenario also. The institutions which are known, which people know very well, they are getting better recognized by the foreign students, as well as the countries where they have the confidence on. And the US remains the first place in terms of number of students hosted, and the share has been declining now because of the Canada is also coming in the race, and also China becoming more competitive in the recent years. But not this scenario was before pandemic, that America is still number one country of choice of the students, and of course Canada is the one. And in 2020, Chinese and Indian students made almost 53% of all international students in the United States, and China and India both comprise almost 50% globally, the number of students which they migrate to different countries. And basically they are to Australia, Canada, and United Kingdom, where they migrate to mostly. This is almost 50%. And it is not a surprise that we find still in the post-pandemic also that the countries like USA are going up, and some of the declines are happening. And but it is the almost decline has happened, but the decline is almost 20% decline in the movement of the students, particularly to different countries, including Australia, because of the rules and regulations. Many factors were there. What were the immigration rules of the country, whether the vaccine was available in the country, whether vaccine was available in the host country, vaccine is available in the country, their native country. And so decisions took place of going from X country to Y country, dependent on many factors. Of course, they also thought that the value for the money, which is always considered, and Australia and elsewhere, the international students are supported, but the enrollment declined, and it's a very steeper decline because some of the countries which put the worst kind of lockdown were, of course, China, Australia, and some of the Far East countries which got impacted. And the short-term program suffered a lot. So because one of the most popular programs in the US for foreign students is the study abroad program. And this study abroad program funds the students to go abroad to any universities for a semester, and they can explore whatever they want to study, and they can bring the credits. So basically the degree degree mobility was not that great affected, but the credit mobility got severely affected, because they were transferring credit from one country to the other country, from one university to other university, one place to the other place. So those kind of credit mobility got very, very severely affected, and lot of students did not prefer to go for any internship or any of those semester in India, Ivy holder semester in India, but this is called a study abroad program in US. And they paused for some time. Some of the students, somehow one of the reasons that the students' number did not fall that much, because the people, those who were already there in those countries, they extended their study period. So if suppose they wanted to take up a job after graduation, because the jobs were not available, they thought continuing study is a better option, and they continued study. So the total enrollment got not that greatly affected as far as the international students were concerned, and they did not return. The countries, some of the countries, there was tremendous decline, and but most of the places the number remained quite steady, and the reason must be the same, that people went for the higher education, people continued, or they took a break, or the longer studies pattern they adopted because of the flexibility available in their study program. And but still 70% or more of the foreign students, they suffered anxiety due to COVID. And they are because of the lockdown and all that, and the worst of the lockdowns that took place in Australia, China, or Japan, and these countries people could not go. So the students, those who were destined to go to such countries, they suffered as far as psychological stress was concerned. They suffered much more than the countries which opened, and Germany was among the first countries to open for students. And that happened as early as July 2020, that they opened for. And the fall in the international students in US and UK and Canada can expect to receive at least part of their educational experience in person. And the students were also concerned that whether they can attend the classes in person or not. But even otherwise, if they could not attend the class in person, they thought the second best option is that some courses they can continue from their home country, and then the next semester they can go and join back. And this the universities very, very supportively allowed them to do. And the pandemic, which was there, will accelerate a disruptive trend that was already underway before the crisis of the students increasingly consider a wide range of destinations than in the past. Now, people will consider the range of their destinations for different reasons. The first of the reasons will be affordability to go to the place, and the ability to work or immigrate after they graduate, and border policies and in-person instruction. They would not like the online things to continue, as our Indian students are also kind of very much fed up staying back at homes and then attending the classes online. And the other opportunities to access, because still the world has not reached, or the vaccines have not reached to the whole world. So the students are looking at whether they would get vaccine or not, and the countries which are providing vaccinations to the students, those countries are preferred, or the students where they are already have the vaccines, they are preparing to go. Then the pattern also of the mobility is changing, because of the early time of COVID, the pattern was different. But now we are now been living with COVID-19 for many months and almost 2 years, and students are having no patience to the crisis and disruptive effect of the studies and the career goals. So they want to go out, and they are applying. So it is possible that now the mobility would be better and would be more in the destination country, and now there is much diminishing risk of traveling abroad and attending in-person classes. For all these reasons, it is not surprising that recent research shows that growing more eager to travel abroad, and 42% of the international students would feel comfortable now traveling overseas, and 38% felt comfortable once a coronavirus vaccine is given. So people are just looking at two things: whether they can travel overseas, and the second thing is that whether they got vaccinated and things like that. So very soon, as far as the prediction is this, that this pandemic will turn into the endemic, and once it turns, and it is already turning endemic at places, and Europe has been removing lots and lots of restrictions, and even US, several places are removing lot of restrictions. And once the restrictions, they give a sense of betterment in this whole scenario, and the international student mobility would increase. And the four most significant host countries worldwide are the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, and Germany. And these countries still remain at the top of the thing. And as I already mentioned to you, that the long-term stay abroad is now more preferable than the short-term stay abroad. And people are preferring the long-term stay, and they are making the long-term programs. Even US has opened the facility for the visa facility, or quick visa facility, or no capping visa facility for the students of particular disciplines like STEM disciplines, if they want to go for, if they are PhDs, or if they are very highly qualified people, they can get the visas without the number. Earlier there was a number. So I think the countries are deposing confidence in their handling of the foreign students, and the foreign students, they are roping in some way or others so that they can come. And here what happened, that the bachelor's degree program, they were more affected by the pandemic related decline of the international students movement than the master's degree programs. This was a trend, because it is possible that the first year students who enrolled in the master's program in 2021 academic year had already been in the host country before, and that's how the new people did not join in the bachelor's program, and that could be the reason. But I think that this kind of situation would get reversed, and the risks people are perceived less and less now, and the travel restrictions are also reducing. Like Australia, earlier it was a very strict entry ban, but now even for their own citizens, it was very difficult to enter. But the countries now, they are opening up easily, and then I think that the mobility will increase. And the prediction is that this year, the international students' mobility would be better. And though the decline was very high the last year, as high as 46% for some countries, but I think that I have no figure for India, because India has significantly no foreign students, and we get almost like less than 0.1% of the foreign market of the students. So really, it doesn't make much of a difference that whether 0.1% or 0.2% of the students, how they reacted. But I'm sure that our international students have mainly they come from Nepal, and I'm in touch with the people in Nepal. The students are interested to come to India, and the other countries being Bhutan and Afghanistan used to be one of the countries, but the students now will be difficult to come from Afghanistan, and maybe to some extent Bangladesh will be there. But other than that, the Western countries, the students who are coming, to some extent, they will have their own choices now to move from one place to other. And UK is becoming a very good choice for the students to go. The Germany is a top non-English speaking host country, which is among the top 4. So Germany is really picking up, and Germany was the first to open up for the students after within the COVID. And of course, there is also loss of enrollment in Germany also in the summer semester, but the winter semester is picking up. And there could be one of the reasons also of lowering down the Europeans because of the Brexit thing which is happening. And the worst program, which was a very good program, was the Erasmus Plus program, which suffered the most, because the short-term program and Erasmus program where the students can go and get their credits transferred to their home countries, and that suffered a lot. So all the short-term international visiting exchange students were less, and many people, they took up the digital the courses quite challenging, and some of them, they started taking some courses online, and many of the universities, they started online courses, of course, to make up for the loss of the money. And I don't know whether the students, those who take the online courses from Harvard or other countries, they will be under mobility or not, but the physical mobility not. So physical mobility is increasing now, and I hope that it will recover very soon within, and it could also be like this, that a kind of revenge mobility would take place now. The people who could not travel would be traveling in a much vengeance kind of thing, and then they will go. And I'm sure that the world is looking at the students from all over the world, and many of the economy of many universities cannot sustain if they don't receive foreign students. So I'm sure that all kinds of mechanisms will be put into place. I have absolutely no idea that what are the strategies in India to attract foreign students. There were no strategies before. There is no strategy during COVID. There were no strategies, except that we wanted them to leave as quickly as possible from our campuses. And once they left, that they will be a part, that kind of mobility we saw. And if they, unless until they were Afghanistanis and their country was itself in a shambles. So I don't know, because a lot of Afghani students were there in India, and they still were asking. I have no update on the status of Afghani students at this point in time, but if some of the panelists may have those information also, I'm happy to be part of it, and I could share some of whatever I have learned, and we are also looking forward to strengthen our foreign international student program, and we have already started working on it. And I think what the indications are there, the bachelor's program, the students from Nepal and Bhutan, they are more interested to come in, and the other programs which they wanted to come was a PhD program. I have no idea. It is still in a very, very nascent phase, but thank you so much for listening to me. I think my time is already up, and thank you so much. I'm sorry if I made some very critical comment about our own system, but unless until we look critically at ourselves, we will never improve and will be destined to fail. And particularly this foreign students mobility issue, our country as a whole has failed miserably. There may be some pockets, maybe in Pune or maybe in Hyderabad or maybe in Delhi, those are better than others. But as a country so large base of the universities, we have failed in, and the language, I think somebody was talking about the language. I can tell you one incident. I was in Pondicherry, and one student, one of the girls, she came desperately running to me and said, please come to that particular teacher. And she had taken a course in performing arts. And of course, the performing arts teachers are different than other teachers. So, and he was telling the summer examination timings or something, and that girl was not able to understand. Then I asked, what is the matter? Are you not, is he not talking in English? No, I want you to explain his English to my English. So that is a very, very big issue, I'm telling you, at the whole country level. And the other thing is the students, they want to come here. They don't want to come medicine and engineering or their computer science or the subjects. They usually come to read philosophy, fine arts, some of the social science things, and things like that. So I think that we have to strengthen these departments, and these departments have got weakened actually. Philosophy departments were closed down in many places because they were not financially viable. But I'm telling you, there's a huge potential of market potential from Western, all the countries, so that if we strengthen these departments like anthropology, art and architecture, then performing arts, fine arts, then all kinds of these kinds of things, we have a great future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful thoughts. And if there are any questions,
I'm sure there would be questions.
Audience, is there any question? Okay. Fine. So, sir, with reference to the international student mobility, particularly, what do you propose for a higher education in India?
Oh, no, you want mobility from India. We are doing fantastically well to send our students abroad. They are quite mobile. So our students are going very well in the flock. So we don't have to do anything. They will leave the country anyway. But if you want a reverse thing to happen, I think that we have to sit together and then we have to tell. And the country is not ready. Let me tell you very honestly that we are not ready to receive foreign students. And if you go and see the kind of foreign students sections they have created abroad, simply fantastic. They don't have to stand on the windows. They have to just sit in a nice air-conditioned room with the attending clerk or whoever is attending, and she will answer every question. Here somebody will say, oh yeah, I'm into for finance only. Oh, about academic, you go to that place. And they obviously will not find that person anywhere. So they really get fed up. So I think unless until we have a great, not only willingness, a discipline at the whole level, whether it is academic administration, including vice-chancellors, it will never happen.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can I ask one question?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Professor Mathur, many of the institutes have international students affairs section. How you propose that, how we should support them or empower them to
let us see
attract more of the international students, particularly from the developed countries.
You are from where, sir?
IIT Ropar.
IIT Ropar.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So I think you must have a good infrastructure. The first thing is a very beautiful infrastructure you must have.
Yeah, we want to strengthen it. So I need your ideas.
I think I'm not known, but I think the students, those who come from abroad, they look for something different than what they already get. And if they are coming for their regular teaching programs, then you may have to advertise them, and then you have to make the classroom compliant to holding the foreign students the way they actually the lecture methodology is completely replaced by the problem. The students, when they used to give me feedback, they used to say everything fine, but we are not challenged enough in the classroom. So I think unless until we make a challenging environment of teaching in the classroom, not by lecture method. I think now in US or any other countries, it is the students are supposed to read by themselves, because now the materials are available everywhere. But what they have to do, they have to take the questions. And here, unless the teachers are ready to take the challenges and they ask the questions, get back the questions, so the teaching is done in a very different manner there. The second thing is that whether the hostel, they are not looking for very big good hostels. They are not looking for very luxurious, comfortable life. They are looking for different experience, and they are looking at that they get what they want to get. I'm sure. I think the teachers in your place would be very, very. I think, and some of the teachers should be already have an experience of going abroad, and I'm sure that they can cobble up the program. And of course, the proper advertisement of your facilities, proper websites, proper help to the foreign students. There should be single. What I'll suggest that there should be a single person for all, and they should not run around to different sections or different. We may have our own way of administering things, but the foreign students don't understand all of them. They understand only one person should take care of everything, whether he's a teacher, whether he's a non-teacher, whether he or she is what, or a batch of students. And then the mentoring, then the periodical monitoring. Even if the students are from US, we have to send a monthly report about each student abroad. And then the tests have to be conducted properly. And most of the universities fail to give the whole year calendar. Of course, IITs do, I know that. Whole year's calendar to them. And even they write that on this day, this time, this subject would be taught, not only subject, this topic will be discussed. And it is very difficult in the Indian situation that the teachers prepare that kind of thing, and then they say on 6th of March, I'll be teaching this thing at this time. So I think this is a great challenge, but I'm sure that IITs can do it, definitely, sir.